I get it.
Hello, Taylor. Snuck in the back there, didn't you?
I got a baby chair.
Ah. Wasn't that freaky, the story of the ski guide getting killed in the avalanche? How far away were you?
Just another. We were, another town, but it's a really odd situation. The guys didn't really want to talk about it. They don't like to make up stories until they have the facts.
Uh-huh.
But it was odd because he was in bounds. And to have that kind of an avalanche in bounds is
Yeah.
so. Yeah, but thank you for caring. It's so fun to spend all that time with your buddy Matt.
I haven't seen Matt in 20 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Matt who?
Costello.
Oh, funny.
So
Ended up on the same ski trip together in Hokkaido, Japan.
there were 6 of us, so we had 7 days together, every meal, we spent all day. Yeah, so we were lucky that they were good guys.
All right, during the show, you're welcome to talk amongst yourselves. You just can't talk too loud.
Did you hear that, Taylor?
We have Nico on technical side. We got Becky in the producer chair and Loretta in the co-host chair. Although after that fan letter last week, you might as well take over this spot.
It's awesome.
Nico, you ready?
Did you listen to it? I said that was my goal. I was like, we're going to be so good that nobody wants Tom to come back.
There you go.
Did you watch the show at all? Isn't that fun?
I was on a hospital bed. That's no way to watch the show.
No, I mean later.
You can now.
Yeah.
No.
Too much time just goes by.
No. I'd just like to try and paint that first person.
That's cool.
All right, here we go. Welcome to the Hot Stove Society Show on Cairo Radio. We are here in downtown Seattle in the beautiful Hotel Andra. My name is Tom Douglas.
I'm Loretta Douglas.
And we are teaming up today to bring you a delicious radio show. Becky is our producer. You've been away in Tokyo.
And Hokkaido and
Skiing and
Skiing and
eating
eating.
all those sorts of things. Nico is on our technical side over there today. We are coming to you, as I said, from our kitchen studios here at the Andra. We've been here for over 10 years now. It's hard to believe. Doing this radio show every Thursday morning. Come see us sometimes. You can join us for breakfast during a live recording. You can purchase tickets at hotstovesociety.com or catch us on YouTube anytime. The only thing we ask is that you subscribe. It doesn't cost a nickel, but it does help us in what way?
I don't know.
Just go tune into Tom Douglas & Co. and you can figure out how to get on our YouTube channel. Upcoming classes here at the Hot Stove. Risotto Demystified with Chef Bridget Charters, who's often a co-host on the show. That's March 14th.
And she's the perfect teacher for that. She had a lot of training in Italy. And I saw that she does a short version in that class too.
Yeah.
She does the long version and a short version. So
I should come
need
do
to take
my
it.
version of that
Oh,
class.
yeah, that'd be interesting.
Yeah. Because I've been to Italy too, oddly enough, and the risotto I had that was the best was nothing
Cheater.
like how we make risotto.
Oh,
So,
interesting.
Interesting. Let's see. Thank You Very Mochi with Chef Rashida Rosley, Saturday, March 29th. You can check out all of our shows at hotstovesociety.com. Serious Biscuit in Ballard is back. Did you have
I
one
know.
this weekend?
I didn't have one this weekend, but I'm going to take everybody this
I got to
upcoming
tell you,
weekend.
it's the first one I've had in quite a while. Because once in a while I'll buy them at the bakery because you can
Yeah.
buy the gravy and the biscuits. But it's the first one I've had in quite a while, and it is the bomb.
They're really good.
really good.
Can I read a listener wrote in for us on that one?
Yeah.
Listeners Luke and Janice from Kirkland wrote, we were at Serious Pie Totem Lake and had 2 varieties of biscuits. Outstanding. The biscuits were perfectly baked, crunchy on the outside, pillowy on the inside. We loved the sauteed spinach and caramelized onion version. The garlic-infused spinach was amazing. Tomato relish was fresh and provided a great pop with the smoked mozzarella. We'll definitely be going back for more buttermilk biscuit brunch.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's
They should
in-depth
write our
review
website
right there.
content.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. No, so it's been at Totem Lake now for a few weeks, and then we
Just
just had
opened
our
March
first
1st.
weekend in Ballard, and I'm
Exciting.
thrilled
10
that
to
it's back.
10 to 3 on Saturdays and Sundays. Neb honors, which is our little Italian restaurant around the corner right here, honors an International Women's Day on March 8th by celebrating trailblazing women winemakers all month.
All month.
You know, I am ignorant of who's a woman winemaker. I mean, I know the difference between a woman and a man winemaker, but I'm ignorant of women winemakers, like in particular in Italy. You have a friend that's one.
Yeah, I have a couple friends that are making wine in Italy now. A lot of second gen,
Yeah.
I would say, which is really cool to see what they're doing with older brands, I think. And then I think that we have a guest on that we're going to be able to ask all about this
Good.
this afternoon too. So,
My
but, I love that Claire is doing this over at Neb. They feature like a different varietal or style every month. And so for this month's feature, she's doing all women winemakers, and she has Verna Borgogna wine, which was Italy's first female to earn a degree in, I can't say that word. Oenology?
Yeah.
Is that the science of
Enology, yeah.
enology? Okay, there we go.
That's wine
But
there.
it's super cool, and I love checking out once a month, kind of like what her features are. She's
very
turned me
intentional.
on to a couple really cool new things. So
Good. Last time I was at her place, I sat in her driveway waiting for her, and we didn't quite meet up.
who?
Vajra.
Oh, Vira.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to dive into the world of anchovies, how to use them, and why you should, even if you hate anchovies. Because we're going to tell you ways that they can live in your kitchen, live in your food, and you don't really notice them, but they give it's like a concrete building block to
Okay.
a recipe and to flavor. Alyssa Lyle stops by to chat about Lucy's Bottle Shop, her new venture blending wine, community, and representation. We're going to talk roast pork. Loretta, in that oven behind you, I have a roast pork that I did on the charcoal grill from your birthday supper
Okay.
on Sunday. And I had the extra one, and so I brought it in so that we could talk about it because I love roast pork.
Well, that's going to be special.
And this is the problem with this roast pork is this. I always say, never buy this cut.
Okay.
Right? It's center cut. I mean, if you're going to buy it, at least buy it bone in, which is, the backside is the baby back ribs. But I have been.
Well, we had the bone in on my birthday, so we'll talk about that.
Well, this is
the
bone in too. So
Okay.
we're going to. Chef Orfi Fuano shares the grand opening of Mirabelle by Orfi. So looking forward to that. We're going to explore the art of the croissant, and you had a delicious almond croissant from
I
the
did.
bakery
I
today.
love our bakery almond croissants.
Hot Stove Society tasting panel. Because we have so many bakers in, I thought, well, what's a good time to check out the jam?
Yes.
And, we're getting to the time of year, it's in March, where the last year's jam is starting to run out. And this year's strawberry season is on the horizon. So we're going to talk about strawberry jam.
Fabulous.
Because my mom made the best.
Aw, that's sweet.
I'm just saying. And I bet you don't have a version of it over there.
No, homemade is the
you
best.
Couldn't,
This
you
is
couldn't
just
find
store-bought.
freezer jam? It's in the grocery.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah. And, of course, we're going to wrap up the show with Food for Thought Tasty Trivia. It's good to be back in the house from last week's absence. So, apparently,
Glad to have you
I'm
back.
the only one who feels that way.
No.
All right, Loretta, what's your taste of the week?
My taste of the week is kind of an experience of the week, which is that it was my birthday this week, and
Happy
on
birthday.
Tuesday, my husband had made reservations at the Pink Door, and
You know, we have some restaurants too.
yeah, I don't like to go to work on my birthday. I don't know that I had been in maybe ever, but if I had, I'd really only been into their lounge, which is right when you walk in their cute Pink Door. They have the lounge, and I had no idea how big it was, that it wrapped all the way around. I mean, they took us to our table. We went on this journey. We ended up with this exceptional view over the market. It's so beautiful in there. I mean, everybody always talks about it, and it's impossible to get a reservation. And Ben thought about it a couple months ago and just went ahead and booked it.
Nice.
But it was so lovely. The food was great. The pastas, I think, were definitely the standout. We had a really good squid ink pasta. I love squid ink pasta with shrimp. But it's just the feeling of being in that room. Like, I totally understand the hype now. I get it. It feels very special and beautiful. And it was so fun.
You know, that restaurant has a lot of history in my world. I don't know if you know that or not. But Jackie Roberts, the owner, and your mom, Jackie Cross, used to work together at Pike and Western for a minute. And when I was selling wine in 1980 or so, the Pink Door was just getting started, and it was one of my accounts. Your mom and I dated in that restaurant. We used to meet for lunch and have pasta broccoli, which was a beautiful brodo with little bits of pasta and just broccoli. And we would sit there and think about having babies in that restaurant.
35 years later, here we are.
35 years later, there you are. And then, you know, it was such an important place for me that when we got married, we didn't have a traditional wedding. You know, we eloped essentially. And that I had said to Jackie, you know, at some point in the near future, we'll do something. So then I rented the Pink Door, and we had our kind of sort of friends' wedding reception there. That front part, when you walk in, it's not really the lounge anymore. That used to be the entire restaurant. And then
So maybe that's why I thought that.
And then they took over that little bar area, and then they took over the old Champions costume and display space, which overlooks the market that you were sitting at. And it's now huge. It also has 80 seats outside on the deck.
Yeah, so maybe I certainly haven't been since they know that they remodeled recently. So,
if I had to guess, they have close to 250 seats in the middle of summer.
Wow.
It's spectacular.
Yeah.
There's cherubs hanging from the sea. I mean, it's so cute.
It's classic.
So.
Jackie had a real vision. And, you know, when she first opened, she had a woman who used to swing, an acrobat.
Yeah, they had someone.
Oh, did they have someone still? Yeah.
When we were there on Tuesday, they do aerial performances in the lounge area.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's quite the place. It's difficult to get into. And
it's good. I mean, sometimes those places that are so hyped, you're like, okay, is it really worth it? And it was so nice to have this experience of going in there and being like, oh my God, this is so cool and totally worth, making a reservation a couple months ago and waiting to go and picking.
Well, you know, like you joining our company, her daughter is running that company.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Maro's daughter down in the Asagio is running that company. It's funny as the adult in the room to see the next gen taking over also. You know, it's like it goes both directions.
You guys need a meeting.
I know. I always have wanted to
A
have
a support group.
like a restaurant baby club where it's like everybody that grew up in restaurants, we meet for like a support group lunch once a month or something.
Well, your closest restaurant baby friend was Mia Yoder of Rick and Ann Yoder
Wild
from
Ginger.
Wild Ginger.
But now I've met several. I mean, through the years, like I'm gonna blank on her name, but her father started Dick's, or her grandfather started Jasmine.
Yeah.
Like, we've chatted and had lunch a couple times and things like that. It's just funny to everybody. There's a common experience. I would
and
say.
Terry and Kathy's boys. You grew up
Adrian and Ryan.
Yeah.
I grew up with
Fran's kids.
Yeah,
as well.
we just had
Fran
Fran on
Bigelow.
the show with her daughter. So I think we need like a happy hour.
Fun.
I think that's a good idea. Speaking of happy hours, I'm so happy for Donnie down at Don and Joe's.
Yes.
He
Yes.
got to
Someone
retire
purchased.
this weekend. His last day was Saturday. I went down and gave him a big hug.
Aw.
And, you know, he's a He's not the hugger type.
But you just made
he
it
was
happen.
all in.
Oh, that's
Aw.
great.
He was all in. He was so thrilled
It's a really big day
to
for them.
make that transition in his life. He'd been trying for a few years. So congratulations, Donnie. You finally did it. Okay, when we come back, let's talk anchovies for a minute on Cairo Radio. It's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM.
Sorry, I took up all the time with my taste.
We had Sean DeTore on last week.
I heard.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said he has to edit out a lot of ums that I say.
Oh, really?
We asked for
We asked
what we can improve on.
Yeah, we asked what all of our kind
Our-
of like hang-ups were, and he said Bridget swears too much, and he has to edit it out. And then I say a lot, and he has to edit those out.
And you said I was
You're
perfect?
perfection.
Perfection.
Yes,
Yeah.
you are.
Here we go. It's fishy time here at the Hot Stove Society Radio Show. I bet if you were to put 100 people in a room, let's just ask this room, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 people in the room. How many people like anchovies and how many people don't? So raise your hand if you like them. So 50-50. If you don't, I'm not even talking to you. But no, anchovies are a divisive subject. I
They
find.
are. They're neck and neck with cilantro.
I would never put those two together. But that's true. Cilantro is divisive.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because it tastes like palm olive. Soap to some people.
To some people, yes. I love it.
Anchovies to me came to me in my love for them later in life. My first time that I remember really loving an anchovy, I was walking through the Italian market in South Philly, Philadelphia, for those of you who aren't from the area. And, you walk, it's one of the most amazing places, or at least it was. It reminds me of your description of India when you were there. It's the most beautiful, awful place ever. And in the South Philly market, when I used to go there 30 years ago, the market was in a few blocks, not unlike our market being a few blocks. But everyone had an awning, and everyone had a burn barrel on the corner of each
A burn
block.
barrel.
A burn barrel. And so the people, the produce mongers, would go over and they'd like trim their cauliflower trim into the curb, into the drainage curb, and then take the box from the cauliflower, plastic, wood, or otherwise, and put it in the burn barrel
Oh,
on the
lovely.
corner. And so while you're walking through the market, you get all this
noxious.
noxious fumes and ashes falling on you, and you have this entire sewage system rotting in the street.
of all the
And
vegetable scrap.
Of all the vegetable scraps. It's the wildest thing. And so you're going, if you don't have much of a stomach, you're kind of like, okay, I'm out of here. This is gross. For me, it was like, oh my God,
Intrigue.
this is incredible. How do they get away with this? We would be shut down in a heartbeat
Right.
with this city's health department.
Sure.
Anyway, so it was just this rotting vegetable flesh and ash and smoke burning your eyes. Then you walk into a shop, like I walked into De Bruno Brothers, right? And I'm walking through the shop, and up in the ceiling there's hanging maybe 100 provolones of different ages. But each one has a drip bag
Right.
attached to the bottom to catch the oils that are dripping. But they don't catch all the oils. So as you walk through, you get oil drips on your head and on your clothes.
Again, only you would love this.
Oh my God, you're in heaven.
Yeah, and a wall full of soprasettas and different salamis and homemade mozzarellas and all sorts of things. Then you come around to the cashier, and on the counter and by the cashier, there's a 10 huge 5-pound, 10-pound, 2-pound tins of anchovies cut open and literally uncovered, and you're supposed to just buy the anchovy that you want, the salted anchovy, the whole body, the fillets, the whatever. And that was like, I could not resist those anchovies.
It was an epiphany.
It was, because
Yeah.
I took them and I used them.
And they were all salted?
I bought
sa-
the salted
okay.
fillets, and it was fantastic. I had them on a piece of bread with butter.
Yeah, simple.
A little baguette with butter. I think the only other thing you might add maybe is a piece of red radish, something to cut the bite.
Well,
That's
I
the
do
first
think-
time I must have been 25 or 30 years old. The first time I ever fell in love with anchovies.
I do think a lot of people's exposure to anchovies is kind of like a mediocre anchovy draped over their
Pizza.
mediocre Caesar salad
Yeah.
from a pizza plate, and as with anything, there are just such finer examples of the form. And if you are writing off, like, I don't like this because that's the only way that you've had it, you know, then I would say try some others. I mean, the tin fish market has just exploded in the last few years. Like, you can find such interesting, beautiful varietals now that.
And some of those are considered anchovies. Some are considered sardines. You know, there's a little bit of difference. I couldn't really tell you what, but they are definitely.
Sardines are
exploded.
bigger, right?
Sardines are bigger and a
less
little
stinky.
milder.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're a little milder.
So anchovies. Do you
Okay.
use them in your kitchen?
I use anchovy paste occasionally to add flavor. I'm not in love with anchovies, but I'm not opposed to them either.
So when someone says to you, do you want an anchovy on top of your Caesar salad, you would say no.
At most restaurants, I would say no. If
Yeah.
I'm somewhere,
I mean, if it's Caesar salad, generally the anchovy should be in the dressing already.
yes, which
And
I
the
do
anchovy
believe
on
in.
top is
yeah.
to garnish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I'm somewhere, I mean, nice upscale, yada yada, where I know they might be using a different
Boccherone,
product
right?
or a Boccherone. Yeah, then I'll say yes.
The
But
pickled white anchovies.
Yeah.
Those are delicious, by the way, as a little snack.
yeah,
But very different than the salted anchovies. So if you look for those, if you hate anchovies, start with a Boccherone,
Okay.
which is a pickled anchovy, and it eats like a pickle. It does have a little fishiness to it, but it's delicious. And
but I think if for me the transition point, which is maybe weird, but I use fish sauce all the time in my cooking. It's one of my favorite additives, and
so you add anchovies to everything.
yeah, but
Pretty
I
much.
just kind of had that revelation of like, I'm adding, every time I cook some kind of Asian food, generally I'm adding a hefty amount of fish sauce. So why am I not adding anchovy paste or something when I'm cooking a different type of cuisine?
Right.
And that helped me make that mental.
Well, fish sauce is definitely just salted anchovies in the juice of them breaking down. So that's what fish,
Yeah.
especially the best fish sauces are that. And it really is a beautiful thing. Like if you're making a stir fry of cabbage and broccoli and carrots and stuff for a side vegetable to caramelize Vietnamese chicken or something, boy, fish sauce and a little butter, a little fresh dill.
I put fish sauce in,
Yeah.
I mean, in pretty much everything. It just is that layer of kind of background.
And then I honestly do put anchovies in so many things that people would have no idea or no reason why. So if I'm making a meatball and I'm making a binder paste, you know, a lot of people use ketchup. I use tomato paste, but then I'll put anchovy paste in there too. You're not going to say, wow, these meatballs taste like anchovies. You're going to say, these meatballs are delicious, and you don't
Yeah.
really know why.
There's a
And
little
they
more
have
depth.
Yeah.
Right.
Serious Eats read an article about how if you don't like anchovies, you've really had it more than you think, because it is an umami. It's a funk. It's I like the little jarred ones in olive oil, and you just take them out and they just dissolve in a red sauce, or when you're doing it with your onions, it just dissolves and it just adds that little depth.
Yeah, I'm making a mustard vinaigrette. I'll just take a half an anchovy and I'll mash it up with a fork, put it in with my mustard. Gone. You have no idea that you're eating anchovy. Because, Caesar salad dressing essentially is a mustard vinaigrette.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's how it started. Now it's unrecognizable what you see in the grocery store for Caesar salad dressing. It's a bottle of mayonnaise. It's gross. But a homemade Caesar salad dressing with coddled egg and things, that's the way to go.
Renee Erickson dedicated a whole chapter to anchovies in her newest cookbook, and she says that the small and mighty anchovy is an anchor in her kitchen. And she's got a whole chapter on it.
She doesn't mean it's holding her down.
No, it's a bedrock.
It's a
something
bedrock,
important.
yeah.
Yes, and I like
The
how
building block.
Building block. I like how she describes ways to just eat anchovies, like you said, with just a little butter, a little lemon, a little anchovy on top, or don't be afraid to get the Spanish olives that are stuffed with anchovies. Take them out, drain the oil that's there, and then put them in new olive oil. Perfect little garnish for a cocktail or just a little treat.
The thing I would say is anchovy isn't the most wine-friendly fish.
Oh, that's a good point. So more like
So certainly no reds, and I would say an Entre-deux-Mer or some sort of seaside white. Really a wine that doesn't present much layers of flavor. It's just a good crisp white
okay.
chugging wine.
Okay.
That is what goes to me with oysters and anchovies and some fishy things when you're thinking about that combination. Or beer. Beer works nice with it too. So, Anyway, I think anchovies deserve a spot in your kitchen. I always keep a combination of fish sauce, anchovy paste, and then whole fillets.
And are you buying tinned in oil?
I don't buy
What are-
tins because you can't reseal them.
Okay.
A tin generally I only buy if I know I'm going to use the whole tin.
So
I think the
jarred
ones
in olive oil,
Jarred in
Jenny.
oil that you can
Okay.
reseal. Yep, perfect. Anyway, get them in your kitchen, enjoy it, and then tell me that you can taste the anchovy when you've made. You know what I'm saying? Unless you've kind of missed the recipe, you won't really taste the anchovy. You'll taste the depth of flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Alyssa Lyle of Lucy's Body Shop, Bottle Shop is here.
We're
and
doing
you're
car repair, not food today.
on Cairo Radio. It's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM. Lucy, am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Alyssa is my
Alyssa, I'm sorry.
I brought some wine.
Is Lyle right? That's right. Okay, good.
Hello.
She said she was going to bring some breakfast wine. I brought some breakfast
wine. Perfect.
Why
Love a
not?
breakfast wine.
Figure some rosé could be appropriate.
What would you like our guests to try? The rosé? Yeah.
Rosé today?
Let's have a little rosé with our breakfast, huh?
I think so.
Danae's back there working hard. She might as well be drunk.
Yeah. Let's just do one for tasting,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
This guy? This is the rosé.
Yeah.
What a moron.
So if you want to, you can do it.
What are they?
How's that?
Nice. Wonder why I called you Lucy. Lucy's Bottle Shop. There you go.
That's a good question. How's this?
Alyssa, get right up in there.
Get right up in here.
Get right up in there.
Okay.
You hear the difference? You hear the difference?
I can hear the difference.
You hear the difference? One is the voice of God. Thank you. I drive by that all the time. I've never seen your shop.
I just opened.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Why do you drive by there?
I go to the Bay Cafe quite a bit.
Oh, yeah?
And then I will take Loretta's family to Chinook's because it's the best family restaurant. And I was looking at a house on Commander's Way or Commanding. I was over there. Not yet. Oh, yes, I did. And then she lives in Magnolia. The other end of Magnolia. Bye.
Do you know how we got connected?
Uh-uh.
Is because her wife was bartending at Eden Hill when Ben and I had dinner, and
Uh-huh.
we started chatting. She was telling us all about the bottle shop, and so then I emailed Lucy.
Well, see, now I know.
Now you know.
Cheers. Congrats on opening.
Oh, I don't have
You
a
didn't
glass.
even get a glass. Here, let's get you a glass. I like that.
They say rosé all day, especially for breakfast. I think that's the saying. Yeah. And I like the story.
All right, here we are back in the kitchen at Cairo Radio. It's the Hot Stove Society radio show. And we are continuing down the path of deliciousness all day today. Alyssa Lyle, founder and manager of Lucy's Bottle Shop, is here. Loretta, how did you meet Alyssa?
Well, I just met Alyssa for the first time, but I met her lovely wife when I was having dinner at Eden Hill, and we got to chatting, and she was bartending, and she said, "Oh my gosh, you're in Magnolia. You have to check out this new bottle shop." And I said, "That sounds like something that we should talk about on the radio show."
Yeah, for sure. We love a good
So-
bottle shop.
Yes, it's awesome, and it has like a very unique, I think, focus. So I would love for you to tell us about it.
Yeah, thank you. And thanks so much for having me on the show. It's really fun to be here. I'm happy that you got exposed, and my wife's my biggest cheerleader, so not surprising there. I opened up on January 18th, so I'm super new. On 23rd, in kind of like that little industrial pocket right past Fisherman's Terminal, right before you get to the Magnolia Center, like right before the bridge. And I started this project with the focus and mission to highlight diverse winemakers. So all of my makers are sourced from people of color, females, queer folks. I'm really highlighting and celebrating my communities. And so it's a way for me to connect with people that I want to support in a really fun and interesting and delicious way.
Fun.
So awesome.
So what's your background? How'd you get here?
How did I get here? It's been a long road. So I started working when I was 15 in kitchens. So I've been primarily a chef by trade, working towards that career of fine dining. Born and raised in Chicago, and then I moved to LA to work for a hero of mine, Thomas Keller. And I've been hustling. You know, I come from the time in kitchens where you come in early, you leave late, and that's kind of how
And you're thankful.
Yeah, and you're thankful, and you're so happy to be there, and I loved it, and I excelled, and I moved to Paris, and I worked in 2-star restaurants. I moved to Seattle. I've worked in restaurants here, and through the pandemic, I really wanted to shift my focus to things that were more community driven and where I could be really present and involved and participate, because as you know, you can't really do that when you're behind the stove, not as well.
Not as well.
Not
yeah.
as well.
Some people like Chef Terry could do it in a heartbeat,
Right.
but me, not so much.
It's difficult because you're driven by the passion. It's a craftsmanship work, so you're behind there. You're doing your best, and then when someone's talking to you, you're kind of like, "Well, I have something in the oven right now."
Your brain's not fully present.
I don't have time
absolutely.
to sit here.
And I love that because it gets me out of having to talk. I'm just the opposite.
Yeah,
so.
absolutely. So I really am enjoying this new kind of pivot in the same realm, because doing all of these wine dinners and things where I have access. It's one of the beautiful luxuries of working in a kitchen. You have access to really expensive, rare, precious wines. And so building that repertoire and exercising my palate throughout my career has really primed me quite well to this. And I'm not certified. I don't have any SOM certification, but
Good.
I really don't believe that that's what gives you the permission slip to sit at the table and give and share your experience when you're drinking and enjoying.
1,000%.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if people would just live by that a little bit more, you know, if it tastes good to you, great. It doesn't have to be rated stars and all sorts of things, right?
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
So I looked at your resume just a little bit, and I think it's so funny that you have Thomas Keller on there right next to Chris Bianco.
Oh, hell
Couldn't
yeah.
be two more different cooks, yet very similar in the passion world. So Chris
So
Bianco
warm.
started the Bianco Pizzeria in the Phoenix area, and Thomas Keller, of course, French Laundry and more, lots more.
And lots more, yeah. I love working with Chris Bianco. I worked with him at Tartine Bianco in LA, and he brings people in. Like, I've never met someone who's so willing to just give a hug right off the
Yeah.
bat, and I love
Yeah.
that. I love that energy. That's kind of how I want to bring people into the shop and make them feel like they're sitting in a friend's living room and enjoying things. And yeah, that's kind of how I got here.
Yeah, I just think that's an interesting matchup. What were you going to say
I
about?
was going to say, tell us about your space. And I think you're going to be doing events. And I saw something on your website about really cool art.
Yeah, so I have a lot of partnerships going on in the space. I'm working with the Fishbowl Art Gallery in Uptown. They also prioritize showcasing artists that are of color and queer and kind of that wonderful space of representation and visibility. So they're going to have rotating artists showcasing their work in the space, available for purchase every 3 months. I have a closing gallery event on the 24th of this month that everybody should come to. It's going to be really fun. We have Kri Yamada's photography in the space right now, and then we're going to be unveiling a next artist next month. So that will be really fun. I also have a mocktail class coming up on the 14th, so that's next Friday. People should come to that. Space is very limited. And I'll be doing events every month. I'm shooting for 2 a month. Next month, I have a 70s party at the end of the month, which is going to be really fun.
Hey, I live there. I don't need to go back.
Come on, it's gonna be so fun. I'll have bagged wine.
I can get out my Saturday Night Fever polyester shirt with
I'm holding you to
big
that.
collars. Yeah.
You better be there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, tell us about what we're drinking, because at the end of the day, we're about wine, and I'm so interested to kind of explore some new to me winemakers. And
Yeah, it's really
this is delicious.
It's really great. I mean, what a fun way to talk about diversity, right? So we have some rosé with us today from Sanj Winery. They do their production out at Woodinville, and they source all their grapes from the Columbia Valley and Lake Chelan. Sharon and Kai, it's a Punjabi and black couple. They're very near and dear to my heart, become very good friends of mine. And they do stainless steel, let the grapes talk. They really talk about wine in a super approachable way, which, again, allowing people to have a seat at the table without having to have the correct vocabulary or learning all the terminology. They're asking, how does this wine vibe? Do you feel good when you drink it? Then great, have some more.
So go back to what
yeah.
you just said for a second. Explain that.
Yeah.
Stainless steel, letting the grapes talk. And
Yeah.
I think because, let's just say you're not putting an oak barrel on top of everything, you're actually getting the exact flavor profile of the fruit.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it can kind of showcase even what time you're harvesting, whether it's going to be early and getting a little more acidity versus later and getting a little more of that fruity sweetness. And oak and concrete even can add some more creamy textures and flavors to it. Those are great, and I think it's fun to see all the winemakers flex their styles and their techniques and signature flavors that way. But it's also really fun to just taste the grapes as intended. So yeah, I think it's really fun to see in all different forms.
And what's the price point on their wines?
All of their wines are between $20 and $35. So
Nice.
they're all accessible price points, which is really great. I'm rocking my Sparkle Pony crop top from Ram Cellars also. Viv Kennedy out of Oregon. She has Community Wine Bar. She is incredible. She's creating a safe space for queer people as a trans winemaker, and I love celebrating her in my shop. So you'll always find her wine on my shelves as well. And I really I'm obsessed with Sparkle Pony also.
I'm obsessed
I
with
got fun.
Pink Pony, Chappell Roan's Pink Pony. So
Are you
going
going to sing for us today?
Huh?
Are you going to sing for us
Pink
today?
Pony Club.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Any opportunity for him to bust out a tune. But it's so awesome, and I think it's so needed right now to kind of create these spaces, and I love that you're doing it through something that you're passionate about and through something that I think food and wine naturally bring people together. So
Absolutely.
it's just this wonderful layer of connection, and I'm so thrilled to have it in my neighborhood, and I can't wait to
have you guys in.
Yeah,
I do
can't wait to
flights.
visit and-
So it's really fun to come in and try what I have open. A lot of the times I have some things that are a little off the beaten vine and maybe a little experimental. So if you want to get crazy, I can take you on that journey, which is really fun.
What are you finding? I mean, you said you're doing a mocktail class.
Yeah.
What are you finding from your perspective as a wine or a bottle shop owner in the NA world that is making you feel good? Because, I mean, there's a lot out there right now.
There's so much out there, and I'm really here for it because I think especially now that I've taken a more full-time career with wine, I'm drinking so much of it, and sometimes I'm just like, should I be drinking every day? Like, I don't think so. So, I definitely don't always drink when I'm doing tastings. And it's really fun to see other people also exploring that kind of like zebra striping where you can have one drink that's alcoholic, one drink that's non-alcoholic, and other people are making excellent beverages that make it really easy not to drink, like Little Saints and Gia Joyous Wine is fantastic.
I like that one.
Yeah, it's really good. They make a sparkling, they make a red, they make a rosé. It's almost as if you don't have to give up anything anymore if you want to take a break from alcohol,
Sure.
which is really fun because I think for a lot of people it can become a little exclusionary, and I don't like that.
Especially at the dinner table when when you're the only one at the table not drinking, it feels very exclusionary.
Yeah.
It's there's two prongs, right? Everyone else is getting a little bit happy around you, and you're sitting there like not drinking. So having that joyous possibility, I think is great.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm really excited to see that. And like I said, having the mocktail class and getting people who are really curious about it, even if they're not fully sober, just sober curious.
Yep.
Which is fun to have them in and explore. That is really great.
Yeah. Okay, newsletter time. Let's sign up for your newsletter.
Sign up for my newsletter. Okay, come to my website. It's Lucy'sBottleShop.com. Sign up for the newsletter. Stay up to date to all of my events. And please follow me on Instagram. I will also be starting a Substack pretty soon, so
Oh,
that will be
great.
really fun.
Okay, I know that's a hipster thing. What is this up?
Oh, yeah.
You're a writer. It's like a blog in a sense.
Oh, okay.
It's like taking it back to the early 2000s blog culture.
Ooh, so sorry.
Stick with your
He was
newsletter.
still old in the early 2000s.
I was so 2000. And that's not that funny. All right.
Well, this
So-
is awesome. What's your address for people to find you?
4036 23rd Avenue West. Follow me on Google Maps. Lucy's Bottle Shop.
Okay.
A wine bar, a bottle shop, and a space for discovering the world in a glass.
Yes.
I love it.
Love
Thank
it.
you so much, Alyssa. This
Thanks
is
for
awesome.
having me, guys.
When we come back, I'm going to pull a beautiful little pork roast
I
out
can
of the
smell
oven.
it.
Can you smell it?
Yes.
Rosé is really good with pork.
I know, rosé, perfect. You said you were bringing breakfast wine, and we're having roast pork for breakfast.
Breakfast roast pork and breakfast wine. It's perfect.
So good.
So yeah, we're going to talk roast pork and how to make the best out of not the best cuts.
Awesome.
On Cairo Radio, it's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM.
Will you come around so we can take a picture?
So much better. Yeah.
Those are for you guys.
Delicious.
How's your breakfast? Delicious. Spanish tortilla, onion and potato, ruby chard, stems cooked separate, and then the greens added in when they were tender, with our fish taco spice, and chorizo sausages. You started with a blueberry muffin. And I like it when they make it in my image, a little muffin top. Wow, nice job, Danae.
I did. I'll get you.
Taylor, did you take a picture of the pork before he cuts it? Sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. You're so short.
Stop being short.
Stop. Did you say it's tough being or stop being?
Stop being short.
Stop being.
Time to grow. Good.
You guys want a little bite of roast pork? Person enough to take it home. Feel free to use your fingers. That's without salt. Right there. Good, huh? All right, here we go. Where's Becky? Becky, you ready? We're back here in the hot stove kitchen on Cairo. We're back here in the hot stove kitchen on Cairo Radio. I'm drinking my breakfast wine with my roast pork.
I love it. It's so good.
Drinking breakfast wine, eating breakfast roast pork.
From Lucy's Bottle Shop.
It's a good day.
Yeah, that's a good combo. So, I wanted to talk roast pork for a second because I often talk about this particular cut that I brought in today, which is a center cut pork loin, bone in. So when you look at this in the grocery store, almost always you see just the center cut pork loin
Right.
by itself. Fat cap removed. The loin is just the loin. There's not a bone in sight, right? So when you leave the bone in on this particular cut, essentially what that is, it's the baby back ribs that are attached to the center cut of the pork loin. So we all know about baby back ribs, right?
Sure do.
They have become the most popular pork cut out there, pretty much.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can go to the store and get a center cut pork loin, literally 100% meat, no trim, 100% meat. You can get it for about $4 a pound, $5 max. You can go to the grocery store and get baby back ribs, which are not even 50% meat,
Right.
for $8 a pound.
Okay.
And that has flipped in my lifetime in a big old way, right? Because this used to be, the center cut pork loin used to be much, much more expensive than the ribs themselves. So the difference between spare ribs and baby back ribs is huge. And one's at the other end of the rack. A pork loin rack is about, I would say, 30 inches long when it's whole, if not longer, depending on the size of the hog. And so, blah, blah, blah. The reason I brought this today is I'm often saying, don't buy this cut. And you've heard me say it.
Yeah.
And if you do buy this cut, I mean, this is what a pork chop is, just cut up with the bone in, right?
Okay. Yep.
So if you do buy this cut, I like to buy it from the shoulder end of the loin
Because
because it goes right into the pork butt, which, as
It's
we
the
all know,
shoulder.
is a very fatty, delicious. My favorite cut on a pig is the pork butt. It's also super cheap, anywhere from $1.50 to $3.50 a pound. The only decision you have to make with pork butt is, do you get it bone in and bone out?
okay.
As with a lamb shoulder, beef shoulder, pork shoulder, there's a blade in there that if you get it bone out, they've taken that blade roast out and kind of tied it back up. They've also, if sometimes you see country style pork ribs, that's the pork butt cut with the blade bone in.
Right.
Okay. Getting back to this roast, I was making dinner for Loretta and 20 other people for her birthday, her son Rory's birthday, who we call Hercules as a family.
Do we?
Someone does.
One family member does.
Anyway, so the only way in my book to cook this roast successfully is to go low and slow. And I'd like to do it on the charcoal grill where I can add another layer, a lot of layer of flavor.
I can taste that smoke.
You can smell it. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, across the room. That's not Jackie's favorite thing, I'll tell you that. It is mine. So take this pork roast. I've got it right in front of me, bone side down to the counter. I'm going to make slits all through it and put slivers of garlic through this pork roast. Then I go out front and I denude the bay leaf tree, which makes my wife crazy. Literally take branches,
It's a beautiful branch.
large scale branches off of it. I've done this half a dozen times this winter, and the tree is looking worse for wear. Same thing with the rosemary bush. Take big branches. This
Yeah.
is not a sprig time. This is a big branch time. So I put some branches on the bottom. First, I put my butcher's twine out,
Okay.
right? For an 8 to 10 bone pork roast, you're just going to need to tie it 3 times.
Okay.
So I put 3 butcher twines out. Then I put my branches of rosemary and bay on top. Then I put my pork roast on top of that. That's been larded with garlic slivers. And then I used one of my rubs. I happen to use roast rub on this. And then I put the bay and the rosemary on top. And then I tie it all together in a big roast. And you're going to put a picture online.
Yes, we'll put it on our
Of,
blog.
we can do both before and after. So now's where it gets tricky. Right?
Okay.
What do you think? What do you think the tricky part is?
Don't set all your bay on fire.
Well, there's that.
How do you do low and slow?
How do you do low and slow and do it on a charcoal grill? So you have to have a grill that you can regulate dampers on, right? If your grill is $49 Fred Meyer special, I probably wouldn't try this.
Okay.
You would just oven roast it instead.
Yeah, I would just oven roast it.
Or not bother.
Well, the thing is, unless you can really damper to a spot, like on my grill, I can damper to 5 degrees. It's amazing how efficient my Weber is. So I off direct heat over on the indirect side. I got all my coal to one side, and I've got my pork roast, which I'm literally not going to touch until it's done. I'm not going to turn it. I'm not going to rotate it. I'm not going to do anything until it's. I'm just going to pull it when it's done.
Okay.
Okay.
What kind of temperature are you talking about, though?
So for me, I like to start in that 250, 275 area.
Okay.
So it depends a little bit about your time frame for supper. Like if you've got people coming at 6 o'clock and it's 4 o'clock now, you're not going to be able to do that. So don't make this dinner, right? So that's the key. You have to be willing to make a different situation. So I'm going to go on. I'm thinking 4 hours, low and slow, 250, 275. If I'm running short on time, if my numbers aren't getting to where I want, then I'll just pop it up to 300.
Okay.
And I'll get
That's
there.
the range.
But
And then what do you temp it out at to feel like it's done?
that's part of the key
Okay.
is that you can never get too hot. When I pulled this pork roast to rest on a rack over a sheet pan, I didn't get more than 2 tablespoons of juices from a 7-pound pork roast. If I was cooking this at 400 and pulling it out and letting it rest at that point, it would just drain its moisture.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
And so when you have a roast like this that's so lean through the center loin area, you really have to go low and slow. So I'm going to pull this at 135 to 140. By the time it sits and rests for an hour, it will have gotten to that 145 area and then start to come back down.
Okay.
The problem is if you pull it at 145, it'll get to that 155, 160 area because it's too hot, and then you can't stop it.
'Kay.
Right? So with low and slow, you can actually stop the heat process a little bit. What did you like and dislike about this roast?
I love the look. It's really beautiful.
Yeah.
And the moisture, it's definitely very moist. For all the lean cut, I mean, there's a fat cap around it, but the inner meat is just really moist. And that's,
Right.
you've proven
And
to
this
me
is a reheat.
that's true. This is a reheat.
This is a reheat
Yeah.
from 4 days ago, 5 days ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's another good tip if you're having company. You could do it ahead of time and
You
then
could.
just reheat it.
And then you just simply pop this in the oven in a foil wrap and go at 250 for a couple hours even.
Okay.
And it'll take it right back to where it was. What did you like and dislike about it?
The look for sure. I mean, the one that we had on my birthday was even bigger than this, and it had just those big branches on it.
Yeah.
It looked so cool. I love a pork chop, a lean pork chop, and I tend to like lean meat. So for me, this is more up my alley, I guess I would say, than
Right.
some of the roasts that you do. I like that it's smoky, but it's not overly
Crazed.
so.
Yeah.
And I like the garlic. I feel like that garlicky flavor permeates through.
So one of the reasons why this is a good smoke, and this is the kind of smoke your mom would even eat, is that it's just a hardwood charcoal smoke. If I were to have put, say, a hickory log or an oak log or something that has bark still on it, it would create an acrid smoke, and that's a whole different
Okay.
type of smoke, and it would overwhelm this particular roast.
Interesting.
The other thing you can look for to help out is a vintage or heritage breeds, Duroc or something of that nature.
Specific type of pork.
Right. When you buy this in a grocery store, say Costco or Fred Meyer or QFC or wherever you shop, oftentimes they have a saline solution pumped into them, which is something that will come out when you cook it. They do it to keep them plump. And also, I think Costco does it for a flavor. Sometimes that's a garlic saline solution. Sometimes it's just salt water. Essentially, it just keeps it plump.
Okay.
And then when you buy it and cook it, it drains out. But it's something to be aware of because it
Okay.
does make your meat more salty.
Okay. How can you tell? Will it
It has
say
to
on the
say.
package?
Yeah,
It has to say.
It has to
Okay.
say. And I think the ones that I've seen say something like may have up to 5%. You see that in hams too, and I mean Costco's rotisserie chicken has got that same kind of situation going
Okay.
on. So it is a viable roast, even though you've heard me say don't buy this, but it really is finicky. You have to treat it properly, or you end up with this dry piece of jerky. That no matter how good your gravy is, it's going to be hard to cover it up. And my gravy was pretty good, even though at your birthday, people didn't realize it was gravy and they didn't eat it.
The gravy was delicious. You also made it with those really perfect, really moist semolina gnocchi.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
wow.
so serving it, I think, like that with something soft and letting this be almost like,
Pick up some of the jus.
yeah, exactly, was really, really good,
Uh-huh.
I thought.
So anyway, to me, I felt like I needed to come clean. Like I have this roast, and I have to say, I bought it.
Even though you tell people not to buy it, you
Exactly.
did buy
So,
it.
Good
So the
job.
point being is that if you handle it correctly, you can be successful with it.
Well, it was super delicious.
Bone in pork.
And I know that you
loin
bought it
roast.
because you knew that I would like it, and I appreciate it.
Yeah. How I raised a young woman in my family that is a boneless, skinless chicken breast girl and doesn't like fat, it's beyond me.
She saves her fat for
I'm nervous
croissants.
about her and my grandchildren.
Well, you should not be nervous about your grandchildren because all three of them were wandering the house with pork bones after
That is
dinner.
true.
Little
The
caveman.
other
With their
night.
hands all over my furniture.
So
Up next, Chef Orphe Fuano shares the grand opening of Mirabelle by Orphe in Pioneer Square. We explore the art of the croissant. Hot Stove Society tasting panel digs in the strawberry jam. And we play Food for Thought tasty trivia, as we always do. On Cairo Radio, it's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM.
should see if Alyssa wants to do trivia. Okay.
How's your pork roast?
Okay. Okay. It is? Yeah?
Just practice with me being right up on top of that.
Mirabelle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back here, no good.
Okay.
Did you try the rosé, Orphe?
No, I didn't try yet.
Would you
That's
like
good?
some?
Yeah? Yeah, it's pretty, yeah.
I think we poured it all. Sorry, that was
there's
a.
some idea.
It's 10, it's the time for rosé. Like French happy hour, yeah. Yes. Yeah, we met couple times on
I know.
that's good. I miss him.
Frenchman back on the show.
He was yeah, such a great chef, inspiration, and Yeah, such a great person. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
24 years.
Yeah. I did couple catering with him.
All right. Do you have tastings for them, or is that coming up next?
Next segment.
Okay.
This is like background, and then we'll do.
Here we are back in the studio on Cairo Radio. It's the Hot Stove Society. And we are coming to you from downtown Seattle, 4th and Virginia. If you ever want to join us, please feel free to go to hotstovesociety.com and buy a ticket. Go to YouTube and watch for free on Thursday mornings.
Yep.
Actually, you can watch anytime, right?
Absolutely.
Or what
But
are
if
the
you
other
have
options?
live questions, then join on YouTube Live, because then you can type them in and we'll try and answer.
That's a
them.
good
I get to-
point.
Yeah.
And look at all the taste that the audience gets today.
I know. It's been a
The
good
art of the croissant
good
with Chef
day today.
Orfeh. The chef owner of Mirabelle by Chef Orfeh. Everything is Chef Orfeh today. The hot stove tasting panel after you're done, Chef, is going to take on strawberry jam, because croissant at Hermé in Paris always has a little jam or something.
Always
like that.
on extra butter, because butter it's so important.
All right, tell us about Mirabelle and how I haven't been there yet.
So you are not been there because it's not open yet.
It's not open yet.
We open in 2 weeks, so we open exactly like 2 weeks from today, the 20 at 8 a.m. and we are at 616 First Ave. So we are really in the center of Seattle activity. We are 1 block from the waterfront, 2 blocks from the Four Seasons, and we are in a historic building. It's part of the 5 oldest building of Seattle from 1852.
Really?
So very
It's older
piece
than
of
me.
art. Yes, so
survived
it's
the
very,
fires.
very historic building. First time on the market since 65 years. So I'm very lucky to be in this location, and will be amazing.
And when I was reading about it, it says it's got chateau-esque tendencies. That's perfect for a French bakery.
Yes, correct. Yes, and we will open in the morning with fresh product. Everything will be made in the house with the most premium ingredients. All the butter and all the flour is coming from France, and we are between 30 to 50% cheaper than any bakery in Washington.
How
Why?
So we are
Why is that?
extremely aggressive in terms of pricing. We want to offer the best experience possible to everyone at a really good price.
How?
Secrets.
Simply.
It's so many strategy behind this pricing. So many months on reflection. Definitely will be way more easy to using local product like local butter or local flour, way cheaper too, around 50% cheaper than import product, particularly right now. But it's not what we want to do. We really want to offer something different. The flour, it's a flour that is not available in any other bakery in Seattle. So it's very exciting product range. And how we do this, secret. But you should come and to try next week, 2 weeks.
When did you arrive in Seattle?
So in Seattle, I arrived 7 years ago, and in America, I arrived 10 years ago. Previously, I was chef partner in California for Mademoiselle Colette. So I did the opening of the 5 locations, and then I moved to Seattle. And I'm right now, of course, I'm 100% working on Mirabelle for the opening. We will not be only a bakery. We will also offering a lunch, breakfast, catering, and a baking class too as well.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Oh.
Well, like our buddy Terry Rotaro, you started at age 14. Is that correct?
Correct.
And where was that?
Was in Paris, so was like very I never expected to be a chef. I always enjoyed to eating good food, and was always good food at home. But no one from my family work in the business food industry. And just because one of my friends, the dad was owning a bakery, then I was spending some time with her and the parents, and I started like this, like I had 14, and then I never give up, and I always doing from one bakery to a bakery to a bakery. And my last job in Paris was with Alain Ducasse for
we've
2
heard of
years.
him. Yeah.
For 2 years.
You
So
might have more stars than any other human
I
alive.
believe so.
yes,
yes.
he's the chef with the most star Michelin in the world. I'm very thankful for receiving this opportunity and to be able to work with him for 2 years in the Plaza Athénée. Definitely.
And you earned 4 degrees in hospitality, is that correct?
Yes. correct.
Overachiever.
So I was in the Culinary School of Paris. So I did 4 different degrees before moving to US. And so from catering to baking to only bread to chocolate. So different category, and also a specific one about business and hospitality management.
Do you have a favorite of those degrees that you use the most?
Actually, the degree in France is great because it's free, so the government pay you for study. So it's very amazing. But the most knowledge that I received so far, like it's by doing on the experience on au départ. So I don't think then the degree changed that much.
What would you? I guess my question is more: if you had an aspiring baker come to you to say, "I want to do what you're doing," you have all these degrees. Which one has helped you the most? Because to me, if I were to look back, I don't have any degrees. I don't have any college. Barely made it through high school. The one that I would be most curious about is probably economics.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you can do chef, you know better than me this. You can do the best cooking possible. If you don't manage well your food costs, your labor on your business, you go nowhere. You can make 100 million baguettes of revenue if you don't have a good management.
If you lose a dime on every baguette.
Yeah, exactly. You lost everything and you don't make. So revenue, it's not that important in this industry. The most important it's how we build the business on step by step on the net profit. For answering to your question, I think the most important first will be like to probably baking like croissant bread because it's one of the category of product which is the most margin. And then on the second one, definitely the management on the business part.
Laminated dough and management, a match made in heaven.
Exactly. You should try that.
I know I should.
What inspired you to open Mirabelle in Seattle?
Oh, so it's 15 years that I'm working in different kitchen, and I get some inspiration from different chefs, from different personality. And it's 15 years that I think about the day that I will open my place. So now we are 2 weeks from this day. Was an opportunity. I was looking to make some change in my life, to create something, to share our experience with the guests that come daily, to creating something unique, and to learn on the best way to learn. I really think I learned so far in the past couple months was very, very, very challenging. You cannot even imagine. Then it's to try. It's to try on to learn by doing.
Why Seattle? I mean, you've been all over. What?
I really
What do
think,
you
as I
see
think that Seattle it's the best place to be in America right now. I really love Seattle. Alors, we can say the nature is great, but the nature, the economy, it's a city that's growing so much. International city, so many people move to Seattle for work, and it's so many different type of food, different
Bounty
of culture,
of
of religion, and all this. And that's for me, it's very important. I born in Paris, I grew up in Paris, I studied in Paris. I live for 20 years in Paris, and we have so many culture, so many energy, so many different neighborhood for different experience. And in Seattle, I feel a little bit, not totally, but a little bit close of this. Then you can go in Ballard for experience, or you can go in Chinatown, or you can go in Downtown Seattle, or you can go in Bayview, on all this neighborhood of totally different experience.
Mm-hmm. So we know Loretta chose Cafe Campagna for her birthday dinner. Where would you choose to
Pink
go?
Door she went
Pink Door, sorry. What would you choose?
Between which one?
For
just
a
French
favorite
restaurant.
Seattle restaurant.
French restaurant? Oh, wow. Difficult question because it's couple. I really like Copine in Ballard. I think that is definitely a great experience, a good quality price, really fair.
I like L'Oursin up on
L'Oursin also, yeah. Actually, it's close of my house, so yeah, it's I really like L'Oursin, very authentic, also good quality price, good ambiance. L'Oursin is great. And Le Pichet too, Le Pichet on the first street. It's one of the places you can eat for a lunch for $50 for 2 people. It still be a good deal, you know, particularly right now. So, yeah, would be my 3 French place to go.
You know, when in 1980, I was walking down the street of 4th Avenue in Seattle, and there was a French restaurant on top of the Seafirst building, so like on floor 46 or something like that, called the Mirabelle.
Ah.
Mirabelle or Mirabella?
Mirabelle.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So I did not know this part.
Yeah. And I had just gotten off the bus,
Okay.
and all of a sudden, everything around us was like this craziness, and Mount St. Helens had just... That was my wine glass.
Just like the
Mount
eruption.
St. Helens
You got
had just
excited.
exploded. So I ran to the elevator at the Mirabelle. Marabou. Actually, it's Marabou.
Ah,
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
So I'm glad it's not
Yeah,
the
yeah,
same.
yeah.
No cease and
It's something
desist.
new.
And I watched Mount St. Helens explode from the picture
You were able
windows
to see that.
of the Marabou restaurant.
Wow.
So
Wow.
when you're thinking French restaurants in Seattle, there's a few. La Tasse d'Avant was always my favorite over on Queen Anne. But there's a few examples of French cooking here because for a while that's all we had for international cuisine. I mean, there was always Chinatown, but from a perspective of great Italian or great Polish or, French was really the dominant cuisine.
And it's more and more every year coming. So this is great. It's what is your favorite restaurant, chef?
My favorite restaurant of my own?
No, when you are not in your kitchen, which
yeah,
one you will like to go?
Well, as I've gotten older, I would say I think of restaurants differently than I used to. Like before, I would say I could not wait to get to a new restaurant. It's just like, okay, I got to get there, I got to try it out, blah, blah, blah. I don't think that way anymore now. I tend to, if I'm not in my own restaurants, which I mostly am, I tend to go to places that are, you know what I mean when I say a Cheers bar?
You know the show Cheers?
You know,
Yes.
Yeah.
something
where a
cheap.
place where you feel at home. You know the people working there. They know you.
Everyone
they know
knows their
exactly what
name.
you're going to order, and they know your name, and you know
Comfortable,
their
yeah.
name. And I enjoy places like that in my later years of restauranting.
You're
because I
going for
think-
comfort.
Yeah, I
Yes.
just think there's a certain elegance in that camaraderie of being in that particular restaurant. You know
Feel
the
to be
neighborhood.
home. You want to feel to be home, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And
And
I eat out. I would
Lot.
say 5 or 6 nights a week, and so it is certainly lunches. I have my favorite place for lunch. It's nothing groundbreaking. Fish with Chinese greens at Tai Tung with Harry Chan at the counter. Blah blah blah. So it was like that's the kind of thing that I like these days.
And I think back to Loretta's point is the experience, and that's what you're trying to provide. And another company that you started was L'Experience, right? So,
Correct.
But
So-
everything is about the experience, not just the food. Yeah.
Right. So I'm not part anymore of at all of my previous job mission. But yes, I was the corporate chef for Espérance Paris for 6 years and a half, and we did 5 openings. But I definitely totally out of this project, and yeah,
All right,
and I'm
when we-
100% focused about Mirabelle.
When we come back, we're going to stay with Orphée, and we're going to talk the art of the croissant.
Yes, he
On
knows
Cairo
about it.
Radio, it's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM.
All right, those are beautiful.
So in 2 weeks, we need to come to try.
Yeah.
Yes, you bet. And
If it's this, it's the first batch, like it's not the first, but we still develop the recipe. And I was very surprised by we will talk about this, but the difference of the flour, because the American flour on in
Yeah,
terms of hydration, it's even for the site, it's way less site. It's like around
it's the what?
the site, inside. It's way less salty, the flour. So all the hydration, everything changed. So I'm waiting for your feedback.
All right. Ready, set?
Ready, set.
We're back here in the kitchen talking with Chef Orphée Fuano of the new Mirabelle by Orphée in Pioneer Square. So you said it's between what and what again on First? Is it
So-
the old Irish restaurant?
616 First Street Ave. And we are next door to the Underground Tour Museum.
So you're further down than I was thinking.
yeah, we are really in the first street, 616.
What's your cross street?
I'm the first on Cherry Street.
Cherry. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
next door to the Underground Tour Museum.
Okay. Okay, let's talk about croissants. Loretta, you had an almond croissant from the Dahlia Bakery, which you fell in love with,
Yes.
but you tend to be a croissant person. What do you look for in a croissant?
Well, first of all, I think that there's different styles. Like, I've never had necessarily a croissant in Paris that tasted like the croissants that we make at the Dahlia Bakery. And so some of it, I think, is just personal style, personal preference. I feel like one of the things I tend to look for is a darker color. I think a lot of people underbake their croissants, and I like a good dark croissant. And so some of what I love about ours at the bakery are that they get really brown.
Right.
Because
That's very French.
Yeah, and I want that really crispy outside.
Well,
So-
you've had croissants at La Dre in Paris. At what's his name?
Pierre Hermé,
Pierre Hermé in Paris. Yeah.
Paul, all
all the
kind of
Pauls.
all the
Yeah.
like standby.
Some of the best commercial croissants I've had are Le Pain Cotin in New York City, where I've just surprisingly good quality for such a big chain. So, what do you think makes a great croissant? If I was to kind of sit here and cut it in half and dissect it, what am I looking for, Orfe?
So,
You know what I'm asking?
yes. So for me, it's very important the texture. So Magritte need to be very crispy outside, soft inside, and not dry inside. And what is very challenging, and what most of the time we find, it's a croissant then it's dark, so crispy, but it's also dry inside.
Right.
This is what I don't want to have. So this it's a little bit technique. So I bake high. I bake at 170 Celsius for 5-6 minutes, and then I put the temperature
Okay.
down for keeping the inside very soft.
So that's
So
the
this
trick.
it's one of my secrets to doing this. Then
So you
inside-
get that initial rise,
Yes.
and then you let it finish off. It has set its rise, and so then you finish baking it.
So the process for all the croissants that you see in the front of you is 3 days. So day one, it's mixing the dough. I mix the dough with the levain because I think it's way more natural.
And that's a
on that less-
sourdough type
yes,
thing?
correct. So
Okay.
I need to put way less yeast. The second day is the lamination. So the lamination is with French butter imported. And then in the proofing, so proofing overnight, low temperature, then for 2 hours at higher temperature, 25 Celsius. And then I will do the egg wash. For putting the egg wash, I like to using a spray. Like a spray, then you can find a Home Depot, for example,
Oh,
like
really?
a construction
Yeah.
paint.
Paint sprayer. And
And my little secret is adding some heavy cream inside the egg wash. So the fat then we have inside the heavy cream we dry in the oven. So then we be matte. And after the product, we come back with the humidity after a couple minutes out of the oven. The humidity will be back, and this the fat from the heavy cream then make the product shiny.
because they're beautiful and they're nice and brown like Loretta likes. They look crispy.
So on that center, I often find croissants gummy in the center. So how do you avoid it? How do you keep it moist without it being gummy and sticky?
Need to try and to try and to try again couple times, and at some point, if you are lucky, you success.
How many croissants have you made in your career?
Which my team in total? In California, we was making couple thousand by day.
Wow.
In experience, Sam. So, yeah,
Okay.
a lot. But I was not by myself.
Right,
I was
right.
running a team of 60 people, so it was like not just me.
But you've had a lot of
Yes.
experience.
Now I'm by myself at this point. I'm still looking for some stuff, by the way, but I'm doing
Don't
everything
look
by
at my team.
I'm doing everything by myself. So this morning I make 200 make croissants. Some for some catering, but 200.
So let's go back to the dough. So you've made your dough, and the second day you're going to laminate the dough.
Correct.
And I think people are a little confused by that term. And it's not unlike puff pastry that you're going to do with croissant dough, right? I know our croissants, when we had a croissant program more steady than we do now, were about 66% by weight butter. People are shocked to hear that because I often watch people first thing they do when they take a croissant is they lather it with butter. And they have no idea that what there is in their hand is 66% butter.
This is correct. I don't see any problem about this. I think it's not. I don't think it's even enough. We should to try 100. You know, maybe would be better. Yeah, it's a lot better. It's not for every day. Personally, I eat one every day, but it's better to eat less, but it's good quality than eating a croissant with less butter. Croissant is croissant. It's rich butter.
So the lamination, you put your dough down, you put your butter on top, you put the dough over, and then you put it through the sheeter.
Correct.
And then you do that again. How many times do you fold? Maybe a dozen times you fold?
So which not showing, it's a little bit more complex to explain, but we do 2 times. So we do one, then we call single. So that means we put the dough on top of each other 3 times.
Right.
And then we do double. The double, it's 4 times putting the dough on top of each other.
Okay.
So like this, it's not make that much sense to explain, but more we put on top of each other, more it's crunchy, and when it's more it's crispy in the end. If we do too much, will be too much crispy and will be very flaky.
Yeah, you don't get the air bubbles
yes,
from the...
yeah, correct.
Yeah.
So
And what makes the croissant rise mostly is the butter, the whey from the butter steaming the layers up,
yes,
up and up.
correct. It's the combination between the gluten and the protein inside, on which the layer of butter, and of course the starter that you use, the levain, make also a huge difference in terms of raising the croissant.
So now you've made this dough. It freezes beautifully, if you'd like to bake them to order. So when you pull out your pre-made crescent roll, essentially, your croissant, you have to let it thaw, and then you have to let it proof, right? You have to let it
Yes.
puff up.
Yes. So you need to. We have we buy a lot great equipment. So we have a automatic proofer. So we put the croissant for 12 hours. It stays at 3 to 4 degrees Celsius, and then automatically they switch to 25 degrees Celsius. So, for example, for this morning, the proofer start at 3 a.m. So I bake at 7 a.m. And I don't need to at 3 a.m. putting directly the program in warm temperature. But yes, it takes around 3 to 4 hours to make proof the croissant from refrigerated temperature to proofing temperature.
And then, as you said earlier, you kind of shock them for 6 or 7 minutes at a high temperature.
Yes.
And then let them finish at a
And
low
that's a
temperature.
technique that a lot of baked goods, I think, benefit from. Like, I often make muffins at a super high temperature at first. You get the immediate rise,
lift,
and then
yeah.
you turn it down and,
Yeah.
finish your bake that way. But the leavening agents, I find, react better and faster to the high heat. So you get the pop, and then you can.
So do you
actually
get
bake
that
it
out of those
lower.
little rolls that you bang on your counter too? Those little tubes?
Yeah, for sure.
The
My canned crescent
if you
rolls.
then take that same croissant dough and add a layer of ham and a little stick of cheese, right? Now you have a ham and cheese croissant.
Correct.
If you put a baton of chocolate, you have a pain au chocolat.
Correct.
Same
So
dough, right?
It's the same dough. It's the same dough for everything. So like everything that you see right there in front of you in this plate, it's 5 different products, but it's only one dough.
Only one dough.
The only thing it changes is like the finishing, or some with egg wash, some no egg wash, some with extra butter. Let's talk about the Kuyaman. So the Kuyaman, what is it? It's a croissant dough with extra sugar, extra butter. So this one we are more than 66% of
Queen
butter.
is the best.
Like we don't need to calculate how many butter or how much butter we put inside. It's not very important. The only thing important is like the taste in the end and the texture. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
My favorite of the croissant, other than a plain perfect croissant, but my favorite is the escargot, the little raisin
The
wheel.
pain raisin.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will have some. I will make some.
Where are
I
you
will
going
make
to
some
make some
pain
with
raisin.
your
I will make some chausson aux pommes. We will have some daily viennoiserie
chausson aux
Poulon
available.
Bakery is my favorite Shoshana.
Which one?
Poulon Bakery.
Poulon,
in Paris,
yeah.
Where
It's
Shoshana
a bit
Pond.
more far than Mirabel. From here, like we are like 3-minute driving, from Mirabel, so it's will be more easy for the
Love it.
breakfast.
Love it.
Well, good luck on everything that you're going to do.
Thank you so much.
2 weeks, go check you out. Tell the address one more time.
So it's at 616 First Street Avenue, and we are in the corner of Cherry Street. And you can follow on Instagram at Mirabel by Orphe. And we will post very soon all the updates, and we are very excited to see you on the 20th.
Awesome.
right,
And that's
perfect.
ORPHEE, Orphe.
Correct.
Up next, since we have all these beautiful croissants, let's have some jam.
Sure.
All right, on Cairo Radio, it's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM.
We go from elegant French to a tang, a twang.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Sure.
Yep.
You want to go to the other side?
Yeah.
Yeah, or you can send me.
No, I just wanted to see her stretch. All right, you guys ready to taste some jam with us?
Let me get it.
Right. Will you help put out jams, please?
Okay, if you want, here's a sheet. If you want to see what they are.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Will you look up real quick what the term, what needs to be in it if you use the term jam or preserves? No, I want you to just look up, if you call it jam, it has to be something by the U.S.
Yes.
It has a,
Thought I did that. Perfect. Thank you.
I don't know. He's right there. I'm going to go ask him.
Talking about just a minute. Jam the fruit.
What is the one with the?
Nothing shows up about percentage of anything.
So this one is the hazelnut croissant.
It just talks about their differences.
We have the
So,
pain au chocolat.
is it a
Well, one,
We have the croissant. We have the croffins. So vanilla and cinnamon. This one the cream. Cream it's probably one of my favorites.
It is. I did read it's a certain percentage of sugar.
Did you ever go to? Okay.
Okay. Jams must contain at least 55%. Okay.
we're back here in the kitchen at the Hot Stove Society Show, and we're breaking out the Hot Stove Society tasting panel for the first time in a few months, it feels like. We are taking on strawberry jam today, and if you've never listened to one of our tasting panels before, essentially what we do, we pick an ingredient, today strawberry jam, and we go to a couple different grocery stores and we try to buy the most popular versions of what we have. So, for example, today we have Smuckers. We've got Trader Joe's strawberry preserves. We've got the Bon Mom, which is, I think, that French one,
Yep.
right, that you see in
You get
every
everywhere
grocery
with
store.
the little gingham on top.
Right. And we got the 365 Whole Foods organic fruit spread and the Bionature organic fruit spread from Italy. So, will you first, Becky, take us through what the difference is between a fruit spread and a jam? Because
Sure.
it has to have a something to be called a preserve or a jam, right?
So a jam is a thick spreadable fruit containing the fruit pulp. It's made from sugar, fruit juice, and chopped, crushed, or pureed fruit with pectin either naturally present or added depending on the fruit used. It must contain at least 55% sugar to be called a jam.
Isn't that funny that they don't say it has to contain strawberries?
No,
They-
that's true. And then preserves, you want me to read the other
Yeah.
couple? Okay. A fruit spread is typically made without added sugar or alternative sweeteners. It can resemble jam, but with a softer texture and more intense fruit flavor. Then preserves, which are most of these, contain whole fruit or large chunks in a syrup or jam, offering a chunky texture and robust fruit flavor. So it's really all over the board what they want
Yeah,
to call
or
it.
you can go down to what my mom used to make every strawberry season, which was strawberry freezer jam.
Right, the freezer jam.
With Sure Gel.
Yep.
And it's what I like about it is those are, I mean, they're hugely sweet, but they're also uncooked jams.
Simple.
Well, simple, but a cooked strawberry and an uncooked strawberry are
Tastes
very
very
different
different.
taste
That's a good
profiles.
point. Yeah.
And so I always loved her freezer jam. Matter of fact, when I started Cafe Sport in 1984, one of the things that was important to me was making my own freezer jam. And while I was doing that, a company came out here in Seattle and started making freezer jams. You can still buy them to this day. Chris Cosgrove was the name of the guy.
Okay.
And I still see him in the freezer section of
Yeah,
grocery
those cute
stores.
little tubs.
Is that
Yeah.
the raspberry one or
Yeah.
yeah.
And where I go for breakfast, Loretta and I go to the Bay Cafe, and they have freezer that same company's freezer jam in their little.
and then to me, jelly is like less texture. I don't know if
it's
that's
It's made
true.
from
strained.
juice, so it's
Yeah.
all the
Okay.
pulp has been strained.
Great.
So there's a little quick primer. So once again, what we're tasting in front of us today is the Bionature organic fruit spread, the 365 Whole Foods in-house brand organic fruit spread from Canada. The first one was from Italy. The Bon Mam strawberry preserves from France. Trader Joe's strawberry preserves from Canada also. And Smucker's strawberries preserves, which I believe there's a Smucker's plant right by our farm over in Grandview, Washington.
Ooh, that must smell nice.
Well, they make a lot of grape jelly there, I can tell you that.
Concord.
Concord. It does smell, the whole valley smells of Concord grapes. So those are the 5 that we're going to taste today. Who wants to jump in first?
I haven't tasted them because I was busy setting them out.
Oh, my Lord.
Okay.
All right, Loretta, your turn.
Oh, thanks.
Well, in 5th place for me is 1,000% the Smuckers. It has a completely different taste, I think, than the others. I don't even feel like it's super strawberry-y in a way. I don't know. I don't like that one at all. Then I would probably say in 4th would be the Trader Joe's. I think it's fine. It's nice texture.
Kind of what you expect out of a
Kind of
strawberry
what I
jam.
expect.
Yeah.
My 3rd place would be the Bionature fruit spread. It's a very different texture. It's like a
I love how
tastier,
acidic
but
it
it's
is.
much more acidic, and I
Yeah.
really like that. And then Whole Foods would be 2nd for me, and Bon Maman first by far, which is great. I love when these happen, and and I'm already buying the one that I think is number 1. But I never know if it's like, is that my number 1 because that's the flavor that I'm
You like the
used
packaging. Yeah.
you know, and that's just in my head, that's become the kind of standard flavor because that's the one I buy all the time. I don't know, but
Yeah.
I do think
Sometimes
that
you look at it and you say, oh, it's from France. It must be good. You know,
Yeah.
it's like there's little cues that maybe form your opinion before you've ever tasted the product.
but I really like the texture of it. It's a nice mix between kind of chunky and not, I think. And I think it has a nice true strawberry flavor.
I will say, for me, I never buy strawberry jam because it's I'm too kind of into the freezer jam. So
Okay.
if I'm going to buy it, I'll buy the freezer jam. So I
I
never buy
always
these
have
cooked canned
strawberry
versions.
jam.
Of this one, I thought I was pleasantly surprised by the. It's called Bionaturae. Bionature.
Guano-
Nature is
Yeah,
probably
some-
Bio
we need
Nature is
Italian.
probably-
Buonanature.
We need Bridget here with her
It's
Italian.
from Italy.
Yep.
I like it because it's less sweet. I like it because it's more has like a lemony,
yeah.
lemony bite to it. And this is something that the others are so sweet. It's like putting candy on a piece of toast.
I will say that one that you like is the only one with a different fruit in it. So it has apple juice in it. And I do kind of feel like you can taste that.
They're probably using that
Part of
instead of
it?
sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that, but it also has, in general, half the amount of sugar than any of the others.
Right. Did we have
the-
any clear consensus in our audience today of what one you like the best? How about if I just go down the list? Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. Well, 3 is got it.
Well, that was my
Bon Man.
favorite. The bon maman means grandma in French, and it's classic. It's everywhere. It does have a lot of sugar. It has 12 grams of sugar. My second favorite one was the Buona Nature, or however you say that in Italian. It's a different.
It's different
It's
thing, yeah.
different. But the bon maman it's just like the big strawberry taste, the big
Yeah.
punch of strawberry. And I love the acid, the lemony, and the other one. And the others are fine. I wouldn't do Smucker's. I mean, if I'm at a restaurant and I had to, just because it's got high fructose corn syrup and corn syrup. Why?
Yeah, why bother?
Yeah. So
I will say the 365 Whole Foods, it has a slightly different texture than the Bon Mama, but it's half the price. And I do feel, and it has somewhat less sugar, and I feel like it's a adequate substitute
So
for
it's
that
18
one.
cents an ounce. The Bon Mama is 32 cents
32.
an
So
ounce.
between those two, I mean, if you're looking to save a little bit of money, I don't think that there's a huge difference personally between those. I do really like the Bio Nature. I'm butchering that, but
If you were to buy a jam at the market today, Loretta, what jam? What's your like? For me, it's always been cherry for some reason.
well, my family eats Bon Mama and strawberry jam, so that's what we go through the most. I like apricot, so I usually buy apricot jam.
No, your grandmother still has a dozen, 18
I
jars
know.
of apricot jam over there.
Yeah. I like all of them: apricot, peach, marmalade, raspberry.
do you ever make
I
jam?
don't discriminate. No.
No. Life's too busy.
How about you?
I love to make a really healthy version with chia seeds. So you take whatever frozen.
Oh, my
no,
Lord.
It's really
With
good.
chia seeds?
Chia seeds. It absorbs. It picks up all the juice, and it just has a nice little. I like the
You're
texture.
such a hippie chick.
Well, it's so good. I'll bring you some. So you just start with frozen berries, frozen organic strawberries. Put them in a pan. Add. I think I do lemon juice at the end. Yeah, you just defrost them, heat them slowly, break up the texture to what you want, and then if it gets a little too wet, then you add a couple tablespoons of chia seeds. They're almost like poppy seeds, and then lemon at the end, and it's lovely.
And do they explode in the jar? Do
No,
they,
they don't explode. They just they absorb like up to 20 times their
Does
weight
Barack
in water.
Obama's head come out like a chia
Like the
pet?
chia
Does
pet?
your jam come out like a chia pet?
Well,
That was
would
my
be-
dad's favorite Christmas gift one
was
year was an
ever.
Obama chia pet.
Why are we not growing chia seeds anymore?
I don't know.
We should be.
You can get them at your local Bartels.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, interesting. And so if you go to the store, what jam are you buying?
Well, now after this tasting panel, I always got the Bon Maman, but I would get the Italian Bio Nature.
Where did you find that one?
That one was either, I went to a lot of stores. It was either at PCC, Trader Joe's, QFC.
But it was at a
or
regular
Whole Foods.
grocery. Like you
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
have to go to a
Yeah.
specialty. You
I
weren't
wanna
at Chef
say-
Shop or
I
anything
want to say
like
it
that.
was at QFC.
Okay. Yeah, I would buy that.
I threw this at Becky late yesterday, so good for her for getting out there. and
Well, I
taking
was
a
at
stroll
the
about.
grocery store.
Oh, were you?
Because I was picking up next week's tasting panel, which you'll hear about.
What are we going to hear about
We're
next
going to do
week?
cold smoked salmon.
Oh, that's right up my alley.
Uh-huh.
That is right up your alley.
Uh-huh.
That's your daily breakfast.
So I've got I only have one little stop to do for next week, so we're all good.
I'll bring the one that I usually buy
Okay,
too
great.
if you want.
Yeah,
I'm
please.
not sure where you got
It's
yours.
probably the Gerard, the one that Terry
Nope.
loves. Nope.
Nope. Nope.
Okay. We'll talk.
Interesting.
Great.
All right.
Perfect.
You know what's coming up next?
I do.
It's the Food for Thought Tasty Trivia brought to you by Rub with Love Spice Rubs.
We're gonna make Alyssa come back and do trivia.
Really?
Yep.
Oh my God.
You know,
She's
she
probably
is-
going to bring her wife and kick our ass.
She did go to culinary school.
I know
Yeah,
she's gonna
exactly.
kill us, but
All right. On Cairo Radio, it's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM. Nico, will you have Sean take the word ass out of that, please? Kick our beep. You guys have a few things to taste out there today. Orpheus, is it nice just to sit down for a minute? Does it feel good to just sit down for a minute?
Hope it's not too hard.
Mom.
Pink Pony Club.
Yeah. Those croissants are incredible. I'm so excited.
What jam did you like?
The third one,
Third
the
one?
Bon Maman.
And Orphe, did I read that you're a cellist as well? Did I read that you're a renowned cellist? Cellist?
cello.
You play the cello? No, I don't.
Piano.
might have read it,
I
but it
read
was
it
a lie.
somewhere. Yeah, I read it on the internet. Yeah.
Somebody's making up good lies about you.
Okay.
It's funny, everything I read about me on the internet is a fact. It is, as someone who's a little bit famous locally, it is interesting to read what people have to say about me who've never met me or know anything about me. So. Interesting is a kind word. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, we're back here in the kitchen at the Hot Stove Society. It's time for Food for Thought Tasty Trivia brought to you by Rub with Love Spice Rubs. As we turn our clocks ahead to spring forward, you don't have to worry about losing an hour in the kitchen. Rub with Love adds a delicious flavor with every short marination time. Just sprinkle it on and you're ready to go. You've been working hard
That's
this
all
week.
Carol.
Oh,
That's
Carol
all
writes
Carol.
these, right?
She whips
Pick
these
up some
out.
during your next trip to Met Market, QFC, Town and Country Market, Thriftway, PCC, Hagen's, or many, many more throughout the area and across the country. All right, Becky, tell us how to play and who's going to win and what they have to do.
Okay. Well, we've got 5 questions for each of you, and the winner's going to pick out someone in the audience, take a stroll through the gift shop, and pick up a 3-pack of Rub with Love. And today we have a special guest. We've got
free.
a free, yes.
Yeah, pick it out and then pay for it, please.
Lucky you. Today we have Alyssa Lyle from Lucy's Bottle Shop, competing with Tom and Loretta, and she went to culinary school. Sorry.
Oh,
So,
Well, I'm also
haven't I told
really
you
hyped
about
up.
this? You're
I
supposed to
know.
like stack the deck in my favor.
I had a lot of sugar this morning between the croissants and the jam tasting, so
and you did bring the breakfast wine.
I did. Maybe that leveled us out here.
So you're a drunk diabetic right now.
Absolutely. I'm ready to play.
All right. Well, we'll start with Loretta so you can see how it goes.
Okay.
Okay, Loretta. Number 1, corned beef began as a preservation method and later became a beloved staple of Irish American St. Patrick's Day celebrations. What does the term corned refer to?
Peppercorns? No.
Along those lines?
I don't know.
It's the large corns or granules of salt
Oh, interesting.
that's
I've never
used during the curing process. So,
heard a salt granule called corn.
fun
It's
fact.
an old-fashioned term. You have to be my age to get that one.
Great.
Okay, number 2, true or false? A pichet is an interchangeable term with a carafe. Is that true or false?
True.
It's false. A
Oh.
pichet is like a pitcher that has a handle, although Alyssa's looking at me. And then a carafe can be
The wine person here didn't know that, so I feel okay about.
it can be a container without handles and can range from elegant design to simple repurposed bottles. So, okay, here we go. You're getting this one. What is the difference between a Japanese teppanyaki grill and a
Okay.
hibachi grill?
Well, hibachi grill is like flat and smooth. I think of teppanyaki as having like the ridges, but I don't
Other
know.
way around.
Oh,
a
really?
teppanyaki is a flat grill, kind of think theatrics, the old Benihana type. And then a hibachi is where you get the
Charcoal,
classic
yeah.
grill
Oh,
marks.
okay.
Okay, number 4, multiple choice.
Am I gonna go 0 out this
Nope.
time? That's never happened to me before.
Viennoiserie means things of Vienna in French, referring to Austrian-inspired baked goods introduced to France in the 19th century. Which one of the following is not considered to be part of the Viennoiserie family?
Okay.
A croissant,
Okay.
a bagel. Excuse me, Sean, can you edit that out, please? A croissant. B, a Danish pastry. C, a baguette. Or D, a brioche. Which one's not part of the Viennoiserie?
A baguette.
A baguette, you got it.
Nice job.
All right.
Great.
Final question. What
There's no
cheese-
redeeming this round.
What cheese mixed with Monterey Jack turkey? Sean, can you please clean this one up too? Thank you. All right. Number 5, Loretta. What cheese is mixed with Monterey Jack to create an orange and white speckled block?
Colby.
Colby, yes. 2 out of 5.
Nice job, kiddo. That's the mother of my grandchildren right there. I'll tell you that.
The brilliance this morning is
Okay, you ready, Alyssa?
As ready as I'll ever be.
Number 1. What does the
Wrong.
She's going to get this one. What does the French culinary term mise en place mean?
It means the supplies of your station.
Yep, get everything in its place.
Yeah.
You got it. Okay, number 2. What is the difference between Italian pancetta and American bacon?
Pancetta is different cut. Different. It's smoked? Not smoked? What are you smoking over there?
No more hints for you.
I didn't get any hints.
The American bacon is cured with so many nitrates, and it's really bad for you.
Well, that's true. But
Well,
both.
that's a matter of opinion.
That's true. That's true too. Celery, nitrates, whatever.
I know. When I eat a couple pieces of bacon, I feel rich.
All right, both pancetta and bacon come from pork belly, but pancetta is seasoned with spices and herbs, then dry cured. Bacon is cured with salt and often sugar, then smoked.
Smoked.
There you go. Okay. You're making Loretta feel good. Number 3.
Wow, that was harsh.
I didn't know Becky had a mean bone in her body, and here it is.
Boxty, spelled Boxty, is a traditional Irish dish made primarily from what vegetable? Would you like options?
Yes, options, please.
Turnips, potatoes, carrots, or cabbage?
Potatoes.
Potatoes. Boxty is an Irish potato cake, like a cross between a hash brown and a pancake.
Amazing.
Have you ever had one?
No, I'm Irish though.
Oh,
I have
very-
had them, and
Yeah.
they're just not very good.
Oh, okay. Okay.
They come on a classic kind of Irish English breakfast plate.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't had one. I'll skip it. Number 4, true or false? Asparagus shoots emerge in early spring and can grow up to 7 inches in one day. Is that true or false?
True.
That is true.
Woo.
Final question. If you run out of muscovado sugar, what can you mix with white sugar to make a substitute?
Muscovado.
Mm-hmm. Would you like options?
Options, please.
Honey, molasses, or maple syrup?
Molasses.
Molasses. There you go. So we got 3 out of 5.
Way to go.
Tom's feeling good now.
No.
Okay. All right, Tom.
All right, let's try this.
What key ingredient is used to trap broth inside xiao long bao, aka soup dumplings? Before I just love it. I talk about xiao long bao and I get excited. I love those. Number 2, True or false? Danish pastries originated in Denmark.
False.
It is false.
Viennese.
You got it. There was a strike back in the 1850s
Sure.
in Denmark, and they brought over the.
Doesn't everyone know that?
I didn't know. You did not know that. All right. Good job, though.
He knew it from the Viennese walk
Oh, you did?
question.
Okay. Number 3. What were the first livestock to be domesticated by early humans?
First livestock to be domesticated. So not necessarily edible, but
No,
domestic-
edible. Edible.
Oh, edible.
First was the dog.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
what's
who ate dogs first? Is that what you're
no,
asking?
no, no, no.
Oh,
We're not
okay.
talking like livestock, like for farming.
I will say it was a chicken.
Sheep and goats.
Sheep and goats.
Sheep and goats. Yeah, chicken's a good one.
That was hard.
Okay, number 4. What is the main ingredient in the English dish called bubble and squeak?
God, I guess I've had this question maybe
You
a half
have?
dozen times over the years.
I
Yes.
didn't know what it was. Sean DeTore inspired this one.
Yeah. It's cabbage and potatoes.
You got it.
Yeah.
All right. We won't do that question again. Good job. Final question.
I would like that question next week.
You would?
actually.
Okay, I'll pull it out on you.
Thanks.
Donburi is a Japanese dish consisting of a bowl of steamed rice topped with a variety of ingredients such as meat, seafood, or vegetables, often simmered together with a flavorful sauce. What does the term Donburi literally mean?
Bowl.
You got it.
Don't act so surprised
4
when I
out
get
of
something
5.
correct.
Wow.
Tom Douglas is
Whoa.
winning today.
First time in years. Wow. If you want to be part of the show, you can join the community on YouTube Live at Tom Douglas & Co. or buy a ticket and join us here in the studio at hotstovesociety.com. Was it worth your $25 today?
It's actually 30 now.
$30? You must be stuffed walking out of here. Show is produced by Becky Guzek. Our technical wizard today is Nico Caballero. And our talented editor at Cairo is Sean. Please don't call me Del Torre. If you missed any episode of our Hot Stove Society show in Cairo, listen via podcast. Just subscribe with your favorite podcast app.
Thank you for listening.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, we need a little.
Nice job, Alyssa.
Thank you.
We need a little quiet on
I'm
the
just
set.
going to call you Lucy from now on.
You can.
Yeah.
Little promos.
Quiet for a second. Kitchen today. Hi, I'm Chef Tom Douglas.
I'm Loretta Douglas.
Today on the Hot Stove Society radio show, Alyssa Lyle from Lucy's Bottle Shop joins us. We dive into anchovies, how to use them, and why they matter. And Chef Orphe Fuano shares the grand opening secrets of Mirabelle by Orphe, a new cafe bakery at First Avenue and Cherry Street in Pioneer Square.
All right. You guys gonna go to the Dahlia Bakery now?
Thanks so much.
Tom, you get to choose a winner in the audience.
Oh, this young man right here, the painter.
Aw, there we go.